By the time this video is posted, the Derek Chovian trial will have ended its closing arguments and the jury has gone through its deliberations. I have high hopes that Chovian will be convicted, but I'm not overly arrogant to think that he will get convicted. But in either case, if he's convicted or if he's not convicted, I ask all of you that if you feel the need to celebrate the conviction or protest the acquittal, I ask you to do so peacefully. It's bad enough right now that every single time we even bring up what happened on January 6th, some idiotic Trumper has to bring up what happened last summer. Now I and a lot of us deplored what happened in the protests last summer. But we are not going to forget what happened on January 6th, and we are not going to forget what happened during this trial. The prosecution laid down its case completely, leaving no stone unturned. The defense was the fact that he was a normal, average, everyday police officer who tried to assess the situation and this, that, and the other. That's what the defense lawyer did during his closing argument. But at no point did the defense give any kind of explanation as to being on his neck for over 9 minutes. The defense will have you believe that Derek Chovian was just a victim of circumstance, that the real blame is with his fellow officers. The blame is with how he was taught the procedures in his police department, the dispatcher that didn't give him all the information. But in the end of the day, in the final analysis, Derek Chovian himself is guilty because Derek Chovian did the act of murder on George Floyd. Now, don't take this conviction, if there's going to be a conviction, I pray to God there is, as an indictment of every single police officer out there. There are good cops out there as police officers. I know that myself. However, in the final analysis, cops have to be held up to a high standard, the highest moral standard. If they are not, the criminal justice system will be destroyed. And one last thing, the criminal justice system is what is on trial here as much as Derek Chovian is. Derek Chovian is right now the poster boy of the criminal justice system in this country. If he does not get convicted, no one in this country, at least not any person of color, specifically African Americans, will trust cops ever again. And that's not a threat, that is the truth. How are we supposed to trust cops when they cross the line habitually, day in and day out, and just get away with it like Derek Chovian might? How are we supposed to trust the system when it actively works against us because of our skin tone? So, the jury is going back to deliberate on this thing. I pray that he is convicted of all charges, because that is the only thing that's going to heal this country. It may be the smallest act, but it's a start. And more importantly, it will get back the credibility of the criminal justice system that holds all of us accountable. The blind lady in the courthouses, the statues, saying that justice is blind. Now's the time to prove it. So I will say this one last time. If you feel the need to protest the acquittal or celebrate the conviction, please do so peacefully. No burning, no looting, no breaking things or anything else like that. Because quite honestly, let's get this straight right now. Every Republican politician right now, especially here in Ohio, Jimmy Jordan is begging for an excuse to start letting loose the dogs. And you know they'll do it. You know they will. They'll have no compunction whatsoever on getting us all killed if it serves their purposes. Don't give them that don't give them that satisfaction. We want justice. That's all we're asking. Justice. I'm going to read this last thing to you, and I'm going to close out this video. Now, I found this from a Facebook friend not too long ago. As a child of 2 law enforcement officers, I've always been very supportive of law enforcement agencies. Having said this, I am not supportive of law enforcement that acts in reckless, willful manner with the intent to cause harm and excessive force to harm others or worse. De-escalation should always be the goal. Force when used should be used with the reasonable standards. So many good officers are tainted by the acts of those who should never have been in that position in the first place. Officers are not judge, jury, prosecutor, and executor. These officers that remain silent, knowing those among them are not worthy, are also guilty in their silence. No one should die for a traffic stop, a phony bill, or sleeping in their beds. You shouldn't have to die for being black, brown, tan, or beige, because those charges with keeping the peace, those charged with keeping the peace harbor prejudice and cannot act in a reasonable manner while discharging their duties and to protect and serve. Those with color biases, those with the inability to control their behaviors, need to be weeded out. For too long, like an invasive species, these bad seeds have not been held accountable for their actions. The time is now to end this. Guilty in the Chovian case is a way to start. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.